I want to bring Jeremy back to a conversation we started earlier in the show about this news out tonight that Trump's new legal strategy is to back off Comey out of temporary deference to Bob Mueller's process, I guess is the way the story reads. Tell me, you have a more cynical take on it.
Yeah, look, I think the lawyers for the president said, we can't start investigating Comey. He is a witness. That is the very definition of witness tampering, which is, of course, one of the elements of obstruction of justice. So first we had pressuring Comey to drop the investigation of Mike Flynn. Then we had a retaliatory firing of Comey. Then we had threats about tapes. And now we have threats of investigation. If you want to build a case of obstruction against the President of the United States, you would add in an investigation by his lawyers. I think his lawyers said, we're not doing that.
So do you think this is a sign that the client is listening to counsel?
Of course not. I don't see that happening at all here. I mean, I think it's simply, these are areas where the counsel can do their own thing. I mean, they took it upon themselves to think that they were going to make this big macho move of filing a complaint with the Department of Justice. Well, the fact of the matter is anybody can file a complaint with the Department of Justice. There's no downside to that. I mean, they know if they had done this, they would have just get blown out on it. Nobody would have taken it seriously.
And Jeremy, the suggestion from the president that somehow a crime was committed by Jim Comey for sharing unclassified notes, I mean, that didn't have any legal basis to begin with, did it?
No, I mean, the reason Comey wrote those memos was, as he testified, he was worried that the president would lie about their interactions. So he wrote them in an unclassified manner specifically so that they could be released publicly, so they could tell the story in Comey's own contemporaneous words. There's no classified information in those memos, and if they are, they'll be released with redactions. But I suspect the American people will get to see them very shortly.
And news today that the Senate Intel Committee will get to see them. What do you expect this next phase of the investigation to bring?
Well, look, I think they still have a lot more work to do in terms of interviewing individuals within the Trump organization, like Michael Cohen, like Felix Sater, people who have long-standing financial ties to Russia. And I think they really want to dig into that. And then second, I think they really want to run down and interview all of the people who were involved in the Comey firing, to include Rod Rosenstein, to include people inside the White House. They want to get the fullest picture possible of what was in the president's mind when he fired the FBI director.
And Nick, explain why state of mind is so important if you're trying to prove obstruction of justice.
Well, obstruction of justice is an intent crime. You have to show
so it matters.
It matters what's in your head. And a corrupt intent is simply an intent to
stop something.
Stop the investigation.
Right.
It doesn't mean you paid somebody money. It doesn't mean you told somebody to lie.
And Jim Comey has already said that he assumes he was fired because the president was unhappy with how he was conducting the Russia investigation.
But Comey doesn't have to say that. Donald Trump said it. He said that he fired him to get rid of the Russian investigation. He admitted it to Ambassador Kislyak in the Oval Office, to all of the Russians, that he got rid of Comey so he would get this Russian thing off his back. I mean, Donald Trump is a walking tape machine. He's better than the Nixon tapes.
As the great Julie Pace said, there's no inner monologue and outer monologue. It's all monologue.